has something to offer everybody. It depends what you as an individual choose to lean into.
How have you found your career has improved since you became #1 on Amazon Prime?
There's something standing between where you are today and where you dream of being. Chances are that's a person or a relationship that you don't yet have. How many times do people say, hello, my name is whatever it might be, here's my business card, phone me if you need me, turns their back on you and shakes hands with someone else, right? Cryptocurrency is here to stay. I think the traditional regulated financial world needs to embrace that.
What's your thoughts on meme tokens?
If you are the first person in, you can make a lot of money. But if you're not like right there with the source, someone's going to take that money from you. Then I can completely see why they're embracing the gambling world. Emiratis clearly are happy with it. Otherwise, the UAE wouldn't have got to the point of how westernized it's become that it is today. For me, I think if Dubai stays, as it is for now, it's me for life. It's the perfect place to be.
I agree. Hello and welcome back to BetTalks, powered to you by 0x Processing. I'm Rick Gods and I'm joined by another guest. He is an expert in wealth management with over 600 plus clients. He is an Amazon #1 selling author. Kevin Crowther, welcome to BetTalks.
Pleasure to be here, Rick.
Brilliant.
Very glad to be
Thank you for coming by. We've already met before this podcast.
We have, very briefly.
Yeah, you was a sponsor at Tech Tuesdays.
Correct, yeah.
Event that is definitely excelling.
Taking over,
yeah, is one word. But listen, good to have you here. There's a lot to talk about. We're in sort of similar fields in ways regarding payments. But KevinCrowther.com, tell me more.
Okay, KevinCrowther.com, that was born, I guess, from the recognition of the need to build myself and my brand and, I guess, make myself stand out amongst the large but also very diluted crowd of finance professionals, financial experts, financial advisors. And anyone that's been in the region a lot knows there's a lot of different financial advisory firms out there. Probably heard some horror stories, whether it's from smaller firms, massive, huge multinational banks. So for me, it was how do I really stand out from the crowd, differentiate myself, and build credibility so that people know Kevin is the person to go to and he's a credible, trustable person when it comes to their money. So that's how KevinCrowther.com was born.
I like that. Good,
yeah.
Good. So you are a brand. The brand is your name, which obviously has to be credible, all right? So you're not a branded name. It has to be credible, right? And I mean, obviously you're doing a lot in this space. 5 years in Dubai.
Correct.
Yeah. Originally doing business in London, you was telling me, Switzerland.
Yeah.
So international wealth management.
Yeah.
Working with a lot of clients. How are you finding doing business in Dubai compared to the sort of corporate London, Switzerland market?
Much more freeing, I would say. And the way business is done here is it's just people are more open to doing business. One, the level of activity I find in this city compared to London and Geneva is leagues above in terms of the amount of opportunity there is to do business. I.e. Tech Tuesdays being a perfect example of that. Networking, I was out last night, and various other things. Like, if you want to go and put yourself in the position to work, meet people, do business, and take full advantage of what the city has to offer, Dubai is the perfect place to do it. Whereas, and it's a little bit unfair to, I guess, compare because I was much earlier in my career in London and Geneva, but I just did not find that same openness and willingness from strangers to have a conversation and be genuinely interested in finding out who you are, how you can help them, and how you can work together, which is something I think we can agree we see so much in this city.
Correct. Dubai is very fast moving.
Yeah.
You could literally meet someone 2-3 meetings later, things are actually in process. Whereas I find these old sort of traditional corporate places, like just London and Geneva, they want to see background, they want to see experience, they want to see degrees in this, they want to see. I mean, I don't come from any sort of university qualification, and a high percentage of entrepreneurs do not have that. Not there's anything wrong with traditional education, but I didn't go down that route, and I'm a multiple business owner. So it is. Dubai to me for networking is second to none. There's nowhere like it. I do find Dubai has changed a lot. Would you agree on that?
I would 100% agree, yeah.
For the better or worse?
In my opinion, some things have changed a lot for the better, and some things have gone downhill significantly as well, like notably downhill. So like you say, I've been here 5 years. I got here August 2020. So just after that harsh lockdown that Dubai saw, thankfully I missed that. I was in the UK at the time, and then came here just as it reopened. And again, like I always say to people that Dubai has something to offer everybody. It depends what you as an individual choose to lean into. So for example, we were just talking like Ushuaia, Ocean Beach, these clubs that weren't here a couple of years ago. Like if you choose to lean into the Ibiza version of Dubai, like by all means go ahead and be my guest. But like that is what you will see, and you will potentially see the negative, I guess, things that come off the back of that.
100%.
Whereas if you choose to lean into Tech Tuesdays, which wasn't around 5 years ago, and some of the other really, really good, I guess, conferences here, like meetups, clubs, societies that have set up in that period, then by all means, again, take advantage of that as well. So it depends what you choose to lean into, I guess.
Agreed. That I always say that sort of West Beach has become like Magaluf. There is a huge party scene here that there never was 5 years ago. It's gone mad. It really has. If you want to be out every night, it's literally like a Friday, Saturday night on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, whatever. And it is a bit much. And you see the lifespan of people coming to Dubai, they'll last around about 2 years.
Yeah.
If you're out partying all the time and it becomes too much, and you will not last. You will sink here.
Yeah.
All right, because if you're not ahead of the game, as you know yourself here, there's a lot of big players here.
For sure.
So
there's a lot of competition. People are hungry. People are going to work, and you can either try and keep up with the competition or make the most of the lifestyle, get lost, like you say, sink and ultimately go home.
Agreed. 100%. So KevinCrowther.com, the book, The Secrets to Expat Millionaire.
Secrets of the Expat Millionaire.
Secret of the Expat Millionaire.
There we
nearly
go.
got there. Tongue twister. How did this book come around and you became an Amazon #1 selling author?
Correct.
It's pretty big.
Thank you.
How did this happen? What was the thought process?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I mentioned at the start, half of the thought process was, how do I distinguish myself from the competition, as we were just talking about? There's a lot of competition in this market, in Dubai in general, but finance as well. So how do I stand up head and shoulders above that? So that was one reason. And then the other thing came about is, if you've got, let's say, less than $500,000, it's not, yes, I can add value, but I'm not going to add as much value as if you're above that threshold, moving into the millions and tens of millions. Like that's really where I add a lot of value to my clients. So it's more, how do I give value and provide value to the world for this bracket of individuals who maybe don't quite qualify for someone of my expertise, my needs, and my fee, ultimately, but still want to take their finances seriously and want to take that step, but don't necessarily want or need that tailored, personable approach, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, how do I provide value and how do I fill that gap? And ultimately, the book was the simple and easy solution there. So, it didn't happen overnight. It was something I put a lot of work into. It's something I'm very proud about. Probably took, it's about 100 pages. Again, I wanted to keep it short, snappy, but also have enough detail in there for it to be irrefutable. So for people to be able to read it and say, okay, I really understand what he's saying here. I understand why I need to do something. I understand the logic behind it. And now I understand how to go and execute upon that myself as well. So it's all in there. But yeah, 100 pages probably took me about 3 months or so of, hard graft to put together.
And you did it from start to finish?
Did it from start to finish, yeah.
That's impressive.
Self-published on Amazon Kindle. And then, got it to #1, which was a big accomplishment.
Big achievement. Congratulations. That must have given you a lot of credibility for your client, with your clients especially. How have you found your career as improved since you became #1 on Amazon Prime?
Good question, and it's hard to quantify these things, right? And also with the social media as well. Like I do a lot of activity, as you've seen, reels on social media, on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok as well. But it's sometimes hard to quantify, because if I meet someone networking, or if I meet someone out and about and they choose to have a conversation with me about finances, they're obviously going to go and do their own research. Yeah. So they will see my social media, they will see my testimonials, they'll see my Amazon #1 bestseller. But it's like, obviously it helps with the brand, but to give you a direct answer of how much has it directly impacted something? Difficult to say.
Difficult to say.
But again, if you can take a little bit of action to improve even 1%, go ahead and take that action. That's my philosophy.
Agreed. Yeah. Well, it's definitely credible. It's extremely credible that you put time and actually educated yourself to do that. I mean, writing a book 100 pages is still not easy, huh? So, like I say, listen, well done on that. I haven't read it, but I will.
You've got me in person. You don't need to read it. Don't worry.
I'm getting all your information from your book.
Brilliant questions you need to know.
Brilliant. What do you? I mean, obviously, you have got a traditional finance background. Okay?
Yes.
Corporate banking, wealth management. What's your thoughts on cryptocurrency?
Cryptocurrency's here to stay. No one can argue with that. I think rewind the last cycle 4 years ago, or the cycle before 8 years ago, it was a fad from a lot of people's point of view. I didn't take it seriously. I didn't invest any real sort of money. If a client asked me, I'd say, no, don't go anywhere near it. Yep. It's a casino, right? And it was a casino, and it still is in certain corners of that market, or even the full market to a certain degree. But it is here to stay. Stable coins are taking over, a significant chunk of global payments internationally. I don't think they're going to go anywhere. The Trump organization's just released USD1. It looks like they've got huge plans for that. So cryptocurrency is here to stay. I think the traditional regulated financial world needs to embrace that. And it's something I've embraced personally and well in terms of my career and the type of clientele that I work with. Does it belong in client portfolios? Yes, I think it does. Quite a lot of people would probably argue that point, people coming from a regulated traditional financial world. But at this point, I think certainly a 5% allocation, a sensible allocation, it needs to be in there. But the banking sector and the regulators are 5 years behind. Okay. So sometimes, as a professional, I find my hands are a little bit tied when it comes to delivering those solutions.
Cryptocurrency is the fastest form of payment method the world's ever seen. Still unregulated. I mean, there are regulations in place, such as VARA license, but it's still an unregulated market and still very unstable. How would you manage clients on that kind of basis, coming from, like I say, this traditional background where cash flow, security is the most important thing, right?
Yeah.
How would you manage clients that were looking to sort of incorporate sort of token-based businesses, and how sort of versatile it is? What would your opinion be on that?
If you're going to embrace the crypto world, be ready to embrace the volatility, is my opinion.
Good answer.
Like, crypto can make a lot of people a lot of money and has made probably more millionaires than any other form of investment. That's off the top of my head.
Well, Bitcoin is the fastest growing investment the world's ever seen, right?
Yeah. There you go. So if you want to leap into that world, don't then cry when you get your fingers burned, right? Agreed. So educate yourself, know what you're getting yourself into. If you've got the stomach to get involved and take that risk, and it's the same with anything, investing or anything in life, right? Without risk, you don't get reward. If you're chasing those higher rewards, then you need to know the risk that you're taking.
Yeah. I agree with that. And I believe that, yes, cryptocurrency is here to stay. I believe that Bitcoin is the digital asset of gold, of the equivalent, as they say. What's your thoughts on meme tokens?
It's a dark world. It's a dark world. Hey, again, let's go back to the risk-reward conversation, right? And
But this is extremely high risk, right?
It's extremely high risk. And the thing with these things, from my point of view, if you're incredibly close to the source, i.e. if you are the first person in, you can make a lot of money. But if you're not like right there with the source who's releasing this token or one of the first people to know about it, someone's going to take that money from you. Like, it's a player v player world.
Yeah.
No one's making money. Nothing's being created. It's just moving hands.
Yeah.
If you're in first and out first, well done to you. You'll make a lot of money.
Yeah.
But if that information flow to you and then to execute is slower than the pack, you're going to get your hands burned. Look at Trump coin, right?
Yeah.
How many people bought Trump at $70 odd and it's now sitting at $10, $14?
For sure. One theory, and I'd like to get your feedback on this, coming from as a traditional sort of old school corporate world, right? And I'm quite old school in myself, old school morals and values. I just think if you took an opportunity to a NASDAQ listed company and said, right, we have this token and it's called Frog Token, they're going to say to you, get the hell out of here, right?
Agreed.
They're going to look at you as if you're some kind of joker.
Yeah.
Is this just a Dubai hype, or is this globally that people are investing in Frog Token or Dog with Hat Coin?
Yeah. It's global. It's got to be global, right? Like, look at Doge, which is probably the most popular example of something with zero utility, right? And then you've got the world's richest man and one of the most influential, Elon Musk, literally pumping it and tweeting it for the benefit himself or the community or, whatever his intentions are.
Yeah.
But the whole world is buying into these things, which we all know fundamentally has no utility. But then let's take that a step further. Let's look at the US dollar and the fiat system, something which used to be backed by gold, now no longer is backed by gold. They're printing money. It's being devalued. Like, if you drill down, like, is there an underlying backing? Is there underlying utility? You might sit here and argue no. So,
well, it's just community-based building, right?
Exactly. It's just trust, right? That's all it is.
And hype.
And yeah, trust and hype. Yeah.
Trust and hype. Do you see your people growing and, as a wealth manager, increasing their wealth on trust and hype? It's difficult.
Do it sensibly.
We believe in this token, and we trust that it's going to do this.
Yeah.
On what basis?
On the basis that you're first to act, right? And again, we're not creating anything, right? Like, no. If you have the knowledge and can act before the person behind you in that queue, then go ahead. And that's unfortunately like that crypto world,
Yeah.
It's a dog-eat-dog world, fundamentally. People are taking money out of each other's pockets.
Well,
but if you want to play, then be prepared to lose,
It's a dog with a hat, apparently.
Well, yeah.
0x Processing are focused mainly on two things: acceptance rate and security, achieving an unprecedented level by combining proprietary blockchain infrastructure with broad account security measures. 0x Processing, crypto payments for your business. Okay, I mean, besides from crypto, crypto is just obviously one part. It's digital financial assets.
Yeah.
What would a typical client look for you under your portfolio? Mm-hmm. What would a typical client be on a day-to-day?
In terms of the client or the portfolio, the investments that I'm managing?
Both. Let's start with a typical client under kevincrowther.com.
Yeah.
What would it be that you would be able to sort of fit that bag for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I specialize in the expat market. So like I say, I worked in London, Switzerland, here. Naturally, that journey has meant that I specialize in people with assets across different borders. So the expat market, obviously massive here in Dubai. And then obviously high net worths and ultra high net worths, naturally they've got assets all over the place. So for me, it's that international and global approach that I feel I add the most value to my clients. For the reason being, for example, there's no tax here in the Middle East, right? So from a tax planning point of view, corporation tax, yes, sorry. But from a personal point of view, income, capital gains tax, I can't add any value there. But if you've got assets in the UK, if you've got assets in America, across Europe, Asia, whatever it may be, then that cross-border tax planning becomes so much more important. Is how do you structure fundamentally those assets, depending on the tax regime that they fall under, ultimately to make sure that they're safe, secure, and they're going to be looked after whilst you're here or whilst you're not here, and go to your family and your children, your loved ones there.
So tax advisory would be a top tier for you on management?
It's one leg. It's one leg of the value that I bring. So it's how do we optimize your current assets and current estate from a taxation point of view now? How do we optimize it from a growth point of view? Whether that's shifting assets offshore, for example, changing portfolios, changing investment strategies, borrowing against that portfolio and lending against it so you can go and buy a property without selling your stocks. There'll be no tax triggered because you've not sold the asset. And you keep the upside exposure to the asset as it appreciates as well.
Yeah.
So then that's one. And then it's that full holistic estate planning picture, which is kind of that legacy planning. So in the event of your death, you've worked hard, you've got whatever your estate is valued at, how do you want that to be treated? Who do you want it to go to? What sort of access do you want them to have? And then we'll build that all into the picture as well.
Nice. So you come under as wealth management. The biggest industry in Dubai right now is the real estate market, right?
Agreed. This is an interesting one.
Would you advise clients to buy real estate in Dubai? Or the UAE?
No.
That's a big call, but okay.
It is a big call, and not at these prices. from my point of view, the Dubai economy is linked to the global economy. It's very cyclical, right? So as the global economy goes through massive growth periods, Dubai comes with it because most people here are relying on their job to be here. Most people, if they don't have a golden visa or 2 million dirhams worth of property, if they lose their job, they lose their visa because their company stops sponsoring them. They have to go home realistically.
Correct. You've got two options. You either get sponsored or you sponsor yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But the vast majority of the population here is sponsored by their employer.
Yeah.
So if there's global recession, there's mass unemployment, most people go home, the property market naturally has to crash off the back of that. So for me, that's the risk. And we've seen the Dubai property market go through cycles. I still believe property prices today are not as high as they were back in 2014 in Dubai.
But the crash was 2012, right?
2012, yeah.
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 I mean, you are seeing property prices through the roof. Okay. I mean, how can things and expansion?
Yeah.
Okay. Dubai is expanding like crazy. I mean, they're launching developments all over. I mean, do you know when they said Habibi come to Dubai? I mean, everyone did, right?
People listened.
Yeah, people listened. But how long can that continue for?
It's unsustainable. It's as simple as that. And with any market, supply and demand are the underlying drivers behind it, right? And it's right now, yes, towers are going up, but not as quick as demand. So it's either that supply is going to catch up and property prices will level off, or the demand will fall off a cliff, i.e. in that global recession scenario I was talking about. If that demand falls off a cliff, rental prices come crashing down, people try and sell and exit, all of a sudden, you're sitting on massive amounts of negative equity. And like we're in the desert. One, there's no lack of space as it is, so they can build forever.
Yep.
And two, they're just building into the sea anyway. So the land mass is actually expanding.
Yeah.
So like, where do you ever get that demand supply squeeze to sustainably keep pushing prices higher? I just don't see it personally.
Good answer. Very good answer. I agree with you in some ways. Do you know that there's over 80,000 real estate brokers in Dubai? This is a rat race. This is a dog-eat-dog world. And there's a very small percentage that are actually winning.
Yeah.
There's a lot of brokers that do fail. It's a very difficult market.
Yeah.
Very, very difficult. I know a lot of people in the game, a lot of people that do very well, but they've been here for 20, 30 years doing well, right? Which is a hell of a long time. The Indians dominate the market, big time.
Yeah.
It's very, very highly run by the Indian market because they've been here the longest, right?
Yeah.
And they have them right network. Generally, a lot of the developers are Indian backed.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult one. I mean, I am part of it. I have bought into it, but for several years back, and at the moment things are great.
Absolutely.
But like you said, that could turn very negative very quick.
For sure. And just to be clear, I'm not saying don't ever buy Dubai property. I'm just saying if you're going to buy in a cyclical market, a market that moves up and down, just don't buy the top. And for me, it feels a lot like the top at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of off-plan developments. There's a lot of different districts now happening. I mean, obviously all the Emirates headquarters are moving to the south of the island, right?
Yeah.
So, the country. So you go sort of look at more south now. I mean, all this area, Emirates are literally picking up shop and moving to more south. Yeah. Okay, that is officially
That's the new airport, yeah?
That's the new airport.
Yeah.
There's already an airport there, the Maktoum Airport, right? Emirates headquarters are officially moving there. So where we're 15, 20 minutes away from downtown to actually DXB, we're going to be travelling 40 minutes. So the new downtown is going to be in Amar South.
Yeah.
They're building a new city down there.
Yeah.
So it's going to sort of flip the whole, and then obviously the new Jebel Ali Palm. So it's going to flip everything on its sort of head.
It will.
So what's the price of things in Business Bay in downtown?
What's that going to look like?
What's going to look like?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's like all the tourists are flying in there, and then realistically, they're looking for Airbnb rentals, like you say, in downtown near the Burj Khalifa.
Yeah.
But if they're flying in there, you're going to have the new Palm there. Naturally, they're going to stay. They're going to get as far as the marina.
100%.
They're not going to go any further. Like, that's the boring business end.
Yeah.
There's another Palm, but they've already seen the other one.
Yeah. Which is twice the size.
Yeah.
There's a lot happening.
It's a dynamic market. It's a very, very dynamic market. And that's my opinion. Like, And I might be wrong. And I've been wrong for the past, since I got here. I wish I'd bought 5 years ago, right? I wish I'd bought a year ago. But, it's a risk that I think a lot of people ignore because they get caught up in the get-rich-quick scheme, which Dubai property has become, whether it's rental or buy and sell or renovations. Yeah, I think a lot of people rush into purchases, jumping on the hype, coming back to crypto, and, that's the exact signs of a bubble.
Yeah. I don't think you can compare the two, but Dubai is very open and very crypto-friendly now. You can purchase property with stable tokens, even Bitcoin, I believe, as well. Yep. Some developers. You can purchase cars as well. There's no place in the world that you could actually physically fathom paying in cryptocurrency for these assets.
Yeah. I just saw you can buy petrol with Ripple now, with XRP, correct?
In Dubai?
In Dubai, yeah.
I didn't know that.
One of the petrol, I can't remember the name of them, but one of the petrol has been advertising you can buy with XRP. Like pay for taxis with XRP or something. It's, like you say, it's moving quickly.
So usability, especially in the UAE, mainly in Dubai as well, usability on cryptocurrency is becoming a lot more open and a lot more freely. Still going back to that sort of corporate world, I believe we are years behind before we sort of start seeing, let's face the facts, HSBC and Barclays are not going anywhere anytime soon, right?
No.
And you can't compare NASDAQ-listed companies throughout the world to this crypto sort of Binance, these kind of sort of exchanges, right? I mean, the levels are 100x difference, yeah?
Yeah.
So, looking back, I mean, it is a hype. It is a hype, but it's the same as the property market is a hype. As you just said, 5 years, I wish I'd have bought 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So you either buy into that hype, but there is huge risk factors. Okay? I mean, that's the sort of evaluation that you look at it.
Yeah.
So also, I mean, you've been in Dubai 5 years, all right? What's your thoughts on networking and getting the most out of it?
Great question. Firstly, I think everybody should network. I think if you're not, you're missing a trick. You're wasting a massive opportunity. I always look at it as like, if you're not where you dream of being, there's something standing between where you are today and where you dream of being. Chances are that's a person or a relationship that you don't yet have, right? So the only way you're going to solve that problem is by networking. So you'd be a fool to not go and network unless you believe you have the perfect life and the perfect circle and the perfect network, which nobody does. There's always work to be done.
Right.
So I think everybody should be out there networking, and Dubai as a city makes it so accessible to so many people in so many different rooms and niches. You can go and find your clan in this city, no problem, right?
Yeah.
How to make it effective? Everyone says it, right? It's like meaningful and genuine connection. Shaking hands, and we see it so many times. Like, how many times do people say, hello, my name is whatever it might be, here's my business card, phone me if you need me, turns their back on you and shakes hands with someone else, right?
Yeah. You're skimming through people.
The most annoying kind of people that you meet in these networking conferences. But for me, so the way that it came about that I post so much on social media was I looked at the networking I'd done, and it was like, how many people have I met actually remember me and know me and know what I do and would call me if they needed a financial problem solved, or a wealth manager or a tax problem solved, or if they knew somebody that needed that problem solved. And I was like, probably like 5% of all the people I'd met. So it was, how do I bridge that gap? How do I increase that percentage? It was, well, if I'm in front of them more than just once when I meet them initially, then naturally people will remember me, know what I do, and approach me when they need me to go and fix their problems.
Agreed.
So yeah, from that point on, it was connect with everyone, whether it's on LinkedIn or social media or on Instagram. And then I just post every day. And that way I'm in front of somebody every day, building that trust. They're building familiarity with me. And I think for me, like, that's probably the biggest step that I've taken to make networking go from worthwhile to, truly game-changing.
Yeah, agreed. I always say to people, especially young people coming into the game, or whichever industry it is, if it revolves around networking, which generally does in the entrepreneurial world or business world, networking is a big factor of it. And like you say, if you haven't got that relationship, then you need to be out there meeting people. If you're collecting 200 business cards at a networking event, you're not making the right relationship.
No. Even if I leave a networking event with 10 business cards, I probably remember 7 of the people that gave them to me. The other 3, I'm like, can't remember. I just can't remember who they were.
Yeah.
Goes in the bin.
Yeah. And like I say, I'm not that you're in a networking event, you're going to have a full-on hour meeting and that, but make an impact.
Yeah.
All right? And I always think, don't overcomplicate things. I mean, I have people, which we all do, will come up to you, and they're trying to give me a full essay on what their services are.
Yeah.
It's not the time.
No, I agreed.
All right? I always find that niche impact information that you need to deliver off who you are and what your services are, and photo, Telegram, bang, together, and then follow.
That's the key as well.
Yeah.
That's the key as well.
Yeah.
It's all in the follow-up. Like you say, you're not going to do business and shake hands in that first 10, 15 minutes interaction in a room full of crowded people where people's attention's all over the place. Go and have a coffee, get to know them genuinely as a person, and then you can get into the nitty-gritty of business.
I agree.
But if you go networking and don't follow up, you've wasted your time, 100%.
Agreed. Yeah. Good answer. Okay, so we've touched base on a lot of different topics, all right? Here at BetTalks, we discuss everything from gaming/gambling, crypto, AI, metaverse, networking, real estate. Like, we cover a lot of different bases. Everything emerging tech is a main factor what we touch on, right? Emerging tech, mainly in the UAE. What's your thoughts on AI technology, and are you a believer?
Absolutely. 100%. I think AI technology needs to be embraced. I think from an investment point of view and from a trade point of view, lean into it. You know, NVIDIA has made a lot of people a lot of money. There's a lot of talk about, is it overvalued? Is this a repeat of the dot-com bubble? I don't think it could be further from the truth. I think AI, NVIDIA, and the infrastructure that's coming around it, whether it is the computer chip and microchip companies and GPU processors that are making this technology happen, or it's, you know, the energy providers. For example, nuclear energy is a massive thing at the moment from an investment point of view because of just the pure energy demand that comes from AI. But I think, talking on behalf of myself and from an investment point of view, lean into it, allocate money there, embrace it. It's here to stay. It's only going to get bigger. The investment going into the space is astronomical.
Yeah.
You know, go get yourself a slice of that pie.
I mean, ChatGPT has killed so much employment, right?
Yeah.
Throughout a lot of different sectors. There's a new one now in China that's just been launched. Is it called? Is it
Oh no!
Scenes, or there's a new one that's just coming out. Apparently, it's going to be 10x bigger than what ChatGPT was. I mean, they are dominating. China now, obviously dominating the market, especially with the AI sector as well. How you finding sort of world economies in regards to Dubai? Do you see us distance away from sort of what's happening around the world? Because I always believe in that.
Yeah.
I always believe that Dubai is a bubble of its own. I believe it's not affected by crime. All right, there's rules here, there's laws here. You either abide by them or you don't.
Yeah, or you're not welcome.
Yeah,
simple as that. Unapologetic.
Yeah, that's as simple as that. And I think that there's so many problems throughout the world, especially in the US, Europe, which we don't have here.
Yeah.
And it allows you to grow a lot faster because you're just cutting out all the BS.
Yeah.
You're cutting out all that BS. You know that when you go out, if you meet people and they're not ahead of the game, they're not going to be here for very long.
Yeah.
So I always find that is a huge tool, and it's a huge benefit to being around the UAE, which I'm sure you agree with.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
I think, so like I say, I've been here 5 years. I have the luxury, my clients are all over the world. I could, in theory, spend 10 months out of the UAE, no problem. I could do my job from anywhere, realistically. Yeah. I'm here by choice. If I could choose anywhere in the world, it would be here. Is this home for me? 100%. Do I see myself going anywhere anytime soon, or ever, in fact? No. For me, I think if Dubai stays, as it is for now, it's me for life. It's the perfect place to be.
I agree 100%. Dubai is home. I do travel a lot for business, but when you're away, you miss it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which I never felt when I was in the UK, right?
No.
It's like if you're in the UK and you go on holiday, you always regret, or you're like, you really do not want to catch that flight home. Here, I'm halfway through the holiday. It's like, it's time to get back to Dubai. Let's go.
It's the standards, it's the service, it's the people that you meet. A lot of people are open, especially in the UK. People are closed.
Yeah.
But you ask them, hi, nice to meet you. What is it you do? Nothing to do with you, thank you. Or they don't they don't want to be open with you. They don't want to be open.
No.
And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with being a little bit closed from time to time, but as an entrepreneur in a business environment, connections and network is probably the most important thing, right? You're going to get that here.
Yeah.
You're going to get that in Dubai.
It's interesting, like, are people closed off because of the crime and the fact that they're just naturally untrusting of the people around them and 100%. The community around them?
100%.
Like, that's why people are closed off. They're like,
Pete,
what do you do?
Yeah.
I'm not telling you how much money I have. It's none of your business. Like,
of course.
what are you going to do? Rob me? Like, no.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. People are very, very closed, reserved. And that's not just UK. No, this is a lot, especially in Europe.
Yeah.
Especially in Europe, because of the crime, because of people, because there's unfortunately a lot of bad people out there that are out to get a lot of people, and it's just not accepted here in Dubai, which is in our favour. Okay, so as I keep saying, Dubai is changing on a huge scale. Okay, it's expanding rapidly. A lot of things are happening. Some for the good, some for the worse. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? I think that's a good plan.
Good question. Providing more value to more people in more meaningful ways. I think that's probably the overarching phrase. Like, how I go about doing that is another layer of detail, but growing me and my brand, then growing the team around me to build that into something, again, more meaningful. But it's really taking the knowledge and the expertise that I have about how to become financially free, how to make your money work for you, how to make it grow in a sustainable way, how to take advantage of the opportunities around there in the market, which there always are, how to minimize tax, how to protect your nest egg, your hard-earned capital that you spent your life building up. You know, if I can impart my knowledge, whether it's directly through my services or through a book, for example, passively to more people, you know, that's really my objective.
Yeah, good answer. I like it. The UAE is opening up to online gambling come 2027. I know it's not your field, but you've been here a long time. How do you see the UAE with gambling being allowed?
Why not? And it's the same as anything, right? It's if you give people a tool, use it, have fun with it, be responsible with it, or go and abuse it, but then don't hold that against the UAE, you know?
Yeah.
So why not? If it's going to benefit the UAE, the economy, the local people here and the expats here and the lifestyle that we all have, which it will do because of the tourism and the money that will flood into this place.
Correct.
100%. I can completely see why they're embracing the gambling world, whether it's physical casinos or online as well, like you say. But yeah, I mean, there's always going to be people that get caught up in it and abuse it.
Agreed.
The same as the party scene.
Yeah.
Don't hold that against the UAE. We're all individuals. We're all adults. We can make our own choices.
Well, for instance, drinking alcohol is haram under Islamic laws, and gambling is also. And now both these factors are obviously opening up. Soon to be, come 2027, a land-based casino will be in Ras Al Khaimah. How do you believe local Emiratis will accept this?
I think the same way they've accepted drinking, right? Which is, we're going to give this to you, but do it in a respectful way and respect us, our land, and our rules. And they have that very, very clear, but also very harsh line. Don't cross it and you've got no problem.
Yeah.
And I think Emiratis clearly are happy with it. Otherwise, the UAE wouldn't have got to the point of how westernized it's become that it is today.
Agreed.
So the key is have that harsh barrier in place of respect and mutual respect.
Yeah.
I don't think they clearly want the best for their economy, which is the tourism and the industry,
of course,
that Westerners bring when they come here, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, they're very, very understanding, but at the same time, we all need to be respectful.
Yeah, agreed. Very good answer. Very, very good answer. Is cryptocurrency gambling?
Depends what you use it for. If you're buying stablecoin, USDC, then no, right? If you're buying Bitcoin, is investing gambling? You know, is investing gambling, whether it's the NASDAQ and the S&P, the most stable investments, or, you know, some dodgy startup. But it depends the approach that you take, I guess, when you enter into that. And it's something that I lean on very heavily in my book is like there's some very, very fundamental rules that mean if you know what you're doing in investing, you will make money. Basically, if you have enough time on your hands, the market must go up. Like, it's a fact of life. It will always go up, right?
Yeah.
But if you want to go and buy, I don't know, what's a company that's just launched? Let's just use Uber or Netflix or something. You want to go and buy a Netflix thing, it's going to pop today, and you want to sell it in 3 hours' time, you're gambling. You're gambling. Let's be realistic. There's a 50-50 chance. And even if you're in the S&P for one day, there's a 50-50 chance the market goes up or down. It's, go to the casino and spin the roulette wheel. It's 50-50 as well, right?
I wish I'd have gambled on Uber and Netflix. Jesus Christ. Listen, Kevin, it's been great having you on the show. I think you're a very, very smart, very intelligent guy. One last question. We are sat here talking today, and Bitcoin's just hit all-time highs of $110,000 US.
Yes.
Okay. Where do you see the price of Bitcoin in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years. So I subscribe to the 4-year cycle. I think it's probably going to hit 150, 160 within the next couple of months. I think it's going to come crashing down in 5 years, $250,000.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, I'd say that's very, very reasonable.
Yeah.
So again, it's a cyclical market. Don't buy at the highs. Would I go all in on Bitcoin today at an all-time high? No. Will I wait 12 months and wait for it to get back to, let's say, $50,000? Yeah, I'll be loading up.
Fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. Thank you for coming by. On behalf of BetTalks and our main sponsor, 0x Processing, there's a little gift from us.
Thank you very much.
If you can give them a like and a follow, it'd be great. 0x Processing, crypto processing solutions. Guys, check out kevincrowther.com. We'll put a link in the bio. Check him out. Great guy, very educated. And thank you for coming by and having you on BetTalks.
It's been a pleasure, mate. Thank you very much for the invite.
Thank you very much. Cheers.